Hey everyone, welcome back to another Minecraft building walkthrough thingy-mabob. I still have no idea what to call these, but today I am building a quite large wool shop. It looks quite like a traditional American barn, but the purpose of this build is like a wool shop. And the idea came from, if you're not interested in this, do just skip ahead. But the idea came from basically when I used to play Minecraft back at the very, very beginning on Xbox 360 edition. I always loved making a wool shop. That was the one thing I would always build. Like, I'd go into creative mode and I wouldn't build a house or anything. I'd build a wool shop. I would go to the nearest village and I would take a blacksmith and I would transform it into a wool shop. I would use the smooth stone slabs as like the desk and the till, and then I would have a door to outside where I would just have a pen full of every single sheep colour. I don't know why I was so attracted to the idea of a wool shop, but I was. And I would just role play with myself in this wool shop all the time. And literally, I just recreated every time I created a creative world, I would just create the same wool shop in just 10 different worlds. I was mildly obsessed, which is kind of worrying. But nevertheless, let's get into the actual building because I have been totally yapping for a minute and a half. So, this build I planned beforehand, so rather than the usual thing where I plan in video, I just did the pixel art beforehand, so now you can see it here, and this is the plan. However, spoiler alert, I did this plan very wrong, and I had to redo it. Well, I didn't redo the plan, but I had to like completely deviate from it at a certain point because I just straight up got it wrong. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I am going to build the frame of the build using mangrove wood, and it's a red wood. Traditionally, barns made of wood, and the red is again traditional colors. I'm not going to go exact to kind of your traditional American barn kind of thing. It's just kind of when I think big barn, that's what I think is this kind of big red, white, oval, like half semi oval roof, and so mangrove was my go-to. And then also some texturing was going to need to be included because if I just had a big mangrove box, it was just not going to work. So my aim was to be kind of similar to what I did with the bakery, with the mud bricks mixed in with jungle wood. I was going to patch stripped mangrove logs because that is very similar color to mangrove wood because it's the same wood, and so it could blend very well into it, and just having some patches around to add some texture. I also tried to experiment with red terracotta, red concrete powder, and red concrete. However, I found that, like in the future, I found that these didn't work so well. I'll talk a bit more about that later. So I am just going to head straight into the time lapse of me building this. I just done a lot of talking near the start because my mic was off near the beginning, so I've just had to redo quite a few voiceovers. So let's get into some actual building. Go, go, go! So here's where we see the first part of my plan that went completely wrong, is that on my plan I didn't include like the doors or anything. I showed all of the interior, but I didn't do any actual exterior other than just the roof and that I was going to use red. So I now have to do like a door on either side, like your big doors that you see on the barns, and it was pretty difficult to work through. The shape just was not coming through at all. It took quite a few different attempts for this. It didn't take me too long because obviously the space wasn't massive, but it took me a bit to get a shape that I kind of liked. And eventually I just kind of fixed it by having the door open halfway. When it's perfectly flat, it does not work at all, really. And you can see that on the back of the build. But on the front, I just open the door slightly, and you'll see this as I do it in the time lapse. And then you can actually see inside of it, and there's an entrance, and I keep saying and a lot. Having it open adds the depth, makes it look kind of alright. Another thing I did with this door was just a bit of texturing. I started off with white concrete, just because it was a white block, a nice smooth white block that I thought resembled paint quite nicely. So I used that, and then I used diorite as just kind of a texturing thing. I do add a bit more texturing later on, however, I will talk about that when I actually have my mic turned on, and I don't have to do these voiceovers in editing, when really there are much better things I could be doing with my time.
Another thing I did here was I used some coarse dirt around basically where the doors would theoretically open. Obviously, they can't actually open, but the coarse dirt just kind of shows like where the doors would open and just kind of scrape the grass off of the blocks. Just kind of added a bit of a depth, a bit of a story, not depth, a bit of story, that kind of thing makes it more realistic. It's Minecraft, so it's not very realistic, but you get the gist of how it adds to the build. I also saw another thing which was completely wrong with my plan, was the fences and the pens inside the actual barn, because I had done it in my plan where I had the entire perimeter as fences, which doesn't make sense because the walls of the actual building can act as fences. So it's one thing I got wrong at multiple occasions. So you will hear me talk about it a lot more in the future, because at one point I thought there was like five pens in a row, which there isn't. There's not enough space for that. I was just completely wrong. I really need to think my plans through more.
I did realise my mic was turned off for all of that, because there's a little button under F8 that turns off your microphone, and when it gets accidentally pressed throughout the day, when you're trying to use your laptop in college, and then you come back home to record, causes problems. So now I'm going to have to do all of that in voiceover instead, which is really painful and annoying. Just like everything to do with this build that has gone wrong so far, because even though I planned it, I still managed to plan it wrong. Good job, me. So now I'm going to get to the actual texturing that I wanted to do with the terracotta and the mangrove wood and the concrete. Boy, oh boy, this is fun. Oh no, oh no. Oh no, no, definitely not. No, not at all. Control Z, that is a mess. Yeah, those colours don't blend together well enough. The logs, definitely. Terracotta, concrete, no, 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 no. Backtrack, backtrack, backtrack. I might try and find another block that fits better. That is a big no-no for me. Big old no-no. Yeah, I've literally just like scrolled through every red block I can find, and it's all like too bright or too vibrant. So I think I'm going to stick with this, and then just pour it around the rest of the build, and see how it goes, and then I can get on with the roof. Alright, so I've finished with all the texturing with the logs. I'm just not going to bother with any of these, as I said before. I think it looks pretty good so far. Some of it, like along the top here, is probably going to get just like completely voided, just because of where the roof is going to be. Speaking of which, I would like to get working on pretty much straight away. I'm going to go for a similar thing I did with the doors, with the white. I'm probably going to put the diorite in again, to kind of give it a bit of texturing, so it's not just completely blank. I mean, other than that, other than maybe quartz, I don't think there really is any other good white block that I could use. It might be better to use polished diorite, so it's a bit less of a harsh contrast. That might actually work a lot better here. because the diorite change is quite strong, so I think that actually works really well here rather than the straight diorite. Yes, I think that looks much better actually. And if I just add a little tidbit of actual diorite, that works quite nicely, so I think that works really nice, and I might just get smooth quartz out just to try it out as another thing. I think that's a bit brighter, which might be a bit too much. But we'll try it, we'll try it. I think it looks pretty good just on the door. So if I try and do that on the roof as well, hopefully it should be good. So I'm just going to do it on this door, and then I'm going to get started on the roof. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so I ended up going with smooth quartz for the base of the roof because I just kind of feel like the white concrete doesn't work brilliantly. It's kind of, I mean, I feel like white concrete should be brighter, but actually the smooth quartz is the lighter out of the blocks, and I feel like the white concrete is just too untextured. It's got nothing to it. It's just solid color pretty much, whereas the smooth quartz actually brings some kind of texture to it. I changed the edges of the roof a little bit from the plan just to make it look a bit more natural. I don't think it looked as brilliantly before. I don't think it flowed upwards as nicely. So I think that works a bit better now. It just kind of didn't look too right on the end. And I realise now I probably should have left the wall texturing for a bit later because I forgot I need to fill in kind of this wall and that wall. So that's something that needs to be done as well. I also did the little bit of a roof on this side bit, which that works perfectly fine. I think that's a-okay. I might actually experiment quickly, because things can always look slightly better, just with making this a little bit more flat. It looks alright like that, but I think it looks less like a roof and more like a bit of curtain coming down, kind of like with the red and white on the bakery. Kind of looks a bit more like that than it does an actual roof. So I think I'm going to change that back. So in this next building bit, I am going to fill in the walls on the front and back, put that back to where it was, and then I'll probably get to work on the texturing as well, because I'm just going to do what I did with the walls, with the diorite and the polished diorite especially, and then I'll probably chuck in a bit of white concrete as well, because quite honestly, I'm not sure if those three blocks work the best together, but I think they could certainly overall add to it. It's going to be a lot better than it just being a blank smooth quartz, and honestly, I don't think there's much else better for solid white blocks than that, unless I went for not smooth quartz, which honestly isn't much different. It just doesn't flow as nicely into other blocks, so I don't think that's great. But I could have a look at quartz bricks. No, 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 no. That doesn't fit with the style of the build, not at all. So yeah, other than that, I don't think we've really got any solid white blocks, but I will have a look through because there's always the possibility that I have an absolute eureka moment as I spot something like snow. Might be a bit too bright, but it does work. If we do that rather than the concrete, oops, that might actually be a lot better. Ooh, hoo, hoo. Eureka moment indeed. Snow block might just be the way to go. I did not think about that. So if we're thinking snow, those are very different shades of white, very different mixtures. There's a lot of noise in the diorite as well. So I'll mess about with it. Same as I did with the wall. I'll mess about with it. I'll try a bunch of different things. So let's get straight into that.
Okay, I'm just gonna put sea lanterns in here because I swear I cannot deal with bats. If I'm gonna get a ton of bats on the inside of here as soon as I block off the roof, I swear there's already bats in here and I hate it. I can't take it. Bats are everywhere and I hate it. I can't. Just no, get rid of them.
So looking at the roof now, I really like just the snow and concrete. I think that's a really nice kind of almost cartoony look. I think it's almost perfect. Though I have tried just on this smaller roof, kind of just like the sparse little bits of diorite and polished diorite. I think that does still look really nice. So I think I might try this on the bigger roof, but I might go back because quite honestly, I'm not sure. I'm very torn between the two at the moment. But one thing for definite is at the front of this, it's far too flat. I'm going to need to extend the roof a bit and just give it a bit of a ledge. I'm probably just going to come out by one. I'm not going to do much more than that, and maybe I'll just put some slabs on the inside, just to kind of follow the curve around. And on this little blank bit in the middle, I might have to put something. You know how they have some barns have. I'm thinking of kind of like an American barn. They have like the little doors of like the windows in the top. I don't know why they have them, but they have them. Not yeah, I don't know enough about American barns for that. Our British barns are just kind of boring and grey. So I mean, we have some bigger ones. Somewhere there will be. I'm getting fed up on technicalities now. So I'm just gonna extend that and keep going on with the texturing, see how it turns out. Let's go. I think that looks absolutely wonderful with the stairs coming out. Got like the stairs followed by the slabs. I think that works absolutely perfectly. Ended up coming out by two, because I think that just gives it a lot more depth. I think just the one wasn't quite enough, but I think that looks brilliant with the stairs. So I'm just gonna have to replicate that on the other side. And then just behind here, I've literally just like it's come out with the stairs and then gone straight back in. That's all I've done just because I'm not doing another row of quartz and I just don't think it's worth it and I don't think it's going to look good because the point of this extra bit here is just have a bit of a lip. So I think it works perfectly like that. And I'll think more about what I'm going to do in this space after I have finished all of the roof because I keep interrupting myself and there's a lot of texturing left to do still. Alright, so I've gone quite sparse with the diorite, which I think works really well. I kind of cut down on the diorite a bit there, and I think it looks wonderful just with like a few bits dotted about rather than the same abundance that I have of the snow and white concrete. So I think that does work very, very well. So now I'd kind of like to work on making this area look nice here. So if I'm thinking of kind of your traditional American barn, I'm thinking kind of the window in the top. Again, don't know what it's for, I just know it exists. That just looks like a massive mouth on the roof of it. Yeah, we're not doing that. So I might go for kind of like the chimneys and stuff, the same kind of thing I did with this here. And maybe even go for some smaller windows. Maybe, not quite sure. I'll experiment with a few different things, and then I'll put it on the other side as well, and I'll come back and I'll talk you through my thought process before I move on to the interior. I'm not going to worry about the exterior of this little side bit too much until I've worked on the interior of that, because the exterior of the side bit will very much depend on the interior, how much space there is in the interior, where kind of like desk and stuff is going to be situated in the interior. So, on that note, let's get to work. Alright, I swear there are more thunderstorms on this world than any Minecraft world ever. It's constant. But I've gone for this nice design with like a daisy with stained glass, which I think looks lovely. It's not quite traditional American barn, but it looks nice. And that's the process of me. It looks nice. It may not be traditional, it may not be accurate, but it looks nice. So I have gone for the crimson. I am just going to try with the cherry because I've realised I forgot to try it out. So that looks quite nice actually, and it blends in better with the white. Ooh, you're going to make me choose, and I don't like that. So I think the windowsill kind of thing looks really nice. It's a bit heavier on the bottom. So there's like a block on the bottom, whereas there's slabs on the top. That's just because there's more space from the bottom of the window to the door than there is from the top of the window to the roof. And there's not a situation where it's going to be equal. So part of it's going to be imbalanced, and for that I just put more weight on the bottom, which I think looks really nice. So now I'm going to make the comparison between cherry and crimson, and whatever I decide is just basically just decided out of what I think looks aesthetically nice, and then I'm going to go from there. So after that, I'm just going to skip straight into the interior, and I'm just going to work on the floor. That's all I'm going to do is the floor, which I will probably do out of a type of wood. Probably dark oak is what I'm thinking. I might try out with some logs though, because there's going to be grass on the sides for the sheep, and then an actual pathway through the middle. So I might try some logs and stuff. We'll have a look at that. I'll talk you through that once I'm finished. Okay, I know I said I'd go straight into the flooring, but I actually want to touch on this quickly because I've decided to do a mixture of both. So I think the crimson works really well because it just blends really nicely into the mangrove. I think the cherry stood out too much from the mangrove, but also the crimson trapdoors I don't think looked as nice. They're a bit more sparse than the cherry ones because like half of the crimson trapdoor is just empty space, whereas the cherry blossom trapdoors have a lot of actual wood around them, which I think looks really nice. And having that nice contrast with the pink works really nicely, I think. because I think just having just the crimson blends in too much with the mangrove, whereas having too much of the cherry blossom means that it stands out too much from the mangrove. So getting that perfect little mix of both worked really well, I think. Emphasis on the I think. Other people might think differently, but I believe that worked really well. I did also move it down slightly just because it got too cramped near the top and I couldn't deal with it being asymmetrical just because, I mean, asymmetrical is in like the vertical top half and bottom half, not left half and right half. There's probably a special term for that, but I don't know it. Just, yeah, I couldn't deal with the fact that this was just slabs, whereas the bottom was that I couldn't deal with it, so I just fixed it. So it's the exact same on the other side, but now I'm going to actually move on to the floor rather than just sitting around. Although, for me personally, that is a job for tomorrow, because it's about time for me to go to bed. So I shall pass this along to future me. Alright, the way I passed it off last time was as if future me was going to say something, but future me was very, very tired. So he got on straight with the interior, and he not only did the floor, but he also did a lot of other stuff. So I'm going to talk through everything now. The floor. Obviously, the edges have to be grass because that is where the sheep are going to be. And then I just kind of did a descending pattern when it gets lighter going into the middle. You will have seen in my plan, I might pop it up again now, birch stairs through the middle. It was always the plan that I wanted some light stairs, probably birch. So that's kind of what I did there, and just had them go up and then separate right at the end. They probably didn't need to separate right at the end. I could have pushed the stairs back a bit, but I just like the symmetry of it splitting off into two. I just like that. There probably should be more space up on this second layer because you're literally walking along a one wide pathway. But who cares for safety? In my world, there are no safety like regulations. You can just die unless I put trapdoors there. Now that would be a plan. I've literally just come up with that, and I like that actually as like a railing. That might just be it. That might just be perfect actually. It's not going to work on the edges unless I do two. Nope, wrong side. You need to. There we go. Yes. Oh, that is going to work perfectly all the way around. Yes. Why hadn't I done this already? I don't know what that is perfect, actually. Yeah, I'm going to do that all the way around. That's next thing on the list. Also, I don't know what happened with the fences and stuff because it just completely has gone mad at this point. So before there were some that were just like 2x2, so now they're all 2x3 except these end ones which are 2x4, and it's the same up here. So what I've just thought about is that I need an entranceway to this bit still, and seeing as I've changed the upstairs, because originally the upstairs was going to be like a bunch of machinery for making dyes and stuff, but I completely forgot that the bottom floor only had 8 pens, and I needed 16 pens in total. So I still need the second floor for this, and there's not really a room. There is room for a third floor, but like the floor is going to come across here, which will interrupt with the glass there, and there won't be loads of space on the top floor. And I'm thinking about how I'm going to have to make a second set of stairs, which isn't going to look particularly brilliant. And quite honestly, now that I've done this, I quite like how it looks. So another thing I did up here, I literally just extended it out with the grass, and then I did the logs here because it's the edge of the walkway. Like there's no space to have like an in-between bit. I probably could have something coming out, not there, here, but I just don't. I think that's too thick coming straight out from the from the stairs. So I just have that one little bit, and then it crosses over at the end because you don't want to have to go to get to that other end. You don't want to have to walk away all the way around to get there. So I just did it here, and I didn't want it up against the wall because that would be up against the doors, and yeah, the doors are going to move outwards, and it's already going to become disjointed because this goes into like the first line of the door. So when the door is fully open, it's not going to be quite right. I mean, I think actually it would be just because of how I've positioned the doors, but that's the thought process behind it. And then just underneath, another reason why I didn't want another thing going across there is that the spruce logs also came down as like support beams, which helped make it look a lot more supported rather than just a floating upstairs. A floating upstairs wouldn't work, especially considering where the doors are. If the doors open, it's unsupported, and that just looks wrong. Everything has to look natural and supported. So I just put it on the edges of the fences so that you could still access the sheep in between. Yes, I think that is everything I need to talk about. There was just the logs here, got darker as it went to the inside. Yes, I chose the strip logs because they're brighter, and I like the smoother texture of the strip logs rather than these, but I did also need a darker one, so I didn't use stripped on the outside. I think that is everything. So now all I need to do is place these railings all the way across. I need to shuffle these fences to make sure that there is an entrance through to the little mini shop there. Oh, and up here, it's just underneath. So I'm going to use some slabs to kind of cover it up. Although I could actually use the trapdoors again now that I'm thinking of it. I will try both, see what looks better, and I will go with it. And then after that, I also need to do the lighting, but I'll do a little bit of talking about the lighting because I'm not quite 100% sure what I want to do for lighting. I've literally just got the sporadic lanterns out at the moment. So let's get into the actual building. Let's go. I spent 5 minutes yapping. Never mind. That's not going to work, is it? Yeah, because that one's going to be too small. How has that worked out? Because I need two. When I'm doing that, I'm adding two because there has to be, like, literally that's what I could do and have it be 2 by 3 in every single one of them by making it so that there's a space in the middle. Oh, damn it. Okay, I have done it. I have done what I said I was going to do. The railings, whoa, done. Nailed those straight away. That was the easiest part. Even did them on the stairs a bit because I thought that looked cool. Which should I? I don't think I should do them there as well, should I? No, that's too much. That's too much. Um, pathway. Sure. It just. I needed an extra one still, which would have made one of the pens 2 by 2 rather than 2 by 3, so it doesn't really work. So instead, I just have two lots of fences underneath, um, and there's not a direct path through, and you can just walk over into the little mini shop, which doesn't actually have much space, which is a shame, but I might be able to extend it out that way a bit. But we'll work on that when we get to it, which will actually be very soon. And again, I just put the railings on just because that's cool. And then it wasn't symmetrical anymore, so on this side I also moved it so that the one that was 2x4 no longer existed, and there's just 2 rows of fences here. But I did fence gates because having two, like the fences together, just looks a bit too messy. So with the fence gates, they don't cross over, and it's just like 2 lines going through there. And then I had my battery is running low. Goodness me. Plug in my laptop. That battery went quick, and that is good. Little bit of a panic there. We're alive. And yes, I had a bit of a mess about with the pillars, the support pillars, because again, not symmetrical. If I only really wanted one pillar there, but then it wouldn't be symmetrical with the stairs, so I had to have 2 pillars next to each other, which actually makes it symmetrical. Up here, underneath here, I tried them both. I had trapdoors on one side, slabs on the other, and so I thought, yeah, I'm going to go for trapdoors on both sides, and then completely changed my mind. So now I'm doing slabs. Changed that a couple times, which took some time, but who cares? Now it looks nice. Now I like it. I like the slabs better, and that is a-okay. The next problem is lighting, and once I get the lighting done, I can finally get to work in here. The sea lanterns were just a temporary thing to try and minimize the amount of bats. However, that still didn't work because the bats are everywhere. It is a joke. So now I need to think about lighting. And I mean, when I was thinking about it, the shroom lights and stuff worked really, really well in the apartments. And I could do something similar in here. I don't think it would give the same effect, but unless I'm going for, these are waxed, are they? Yeah, the copper bulbs, which I use a lot. Sea lanterns wouldn't fit at all, no matter how much I love sea lanterns. I don't think that I'm just trying to look for all the lighting blocks. I don't. Ooh, I always forget about lanterns. Lanterns is a good one. Torches are too basic. Was there something else? Oh, that was pumpkin things. Blah blah blah. I can think of words. Jack lanterns. That's the one. Beacons. Yes, very expensive. Go for beacons. Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, paintings. I still haven't put the paintings in the old buildings that I actually accidentally destroyed. That's one thing I need to go back to. Redstone lamps won't work. Absolutely not. That's not going to be it. And other than that, I think it is literally just the shroom lights. These are no longer books, and I didn't even see the shroom lights, so I'm going to go to the natural blocks and find them instead. It's not in the natural blocks. Where are they? Have I gone straight past it? Color blocks. No, why would it be in color blocks? I know they have colors, but that doesn't mean that. Where are they? Genuinely. Functional blocks? Functional blocks. Okay. I think just the purple would work as well. Oh, and I need a redstone block because of copper bulbs. It's not going to work on there because of that. I think that would work. The only thing is copper bulbs aren't very bright. I know they get darker as they kind of as they oxidize, which means they're not always very effective like they are not here. Whereas shroom lights are just kind of always effective. So if I were to put them on each side, they would kind of consistently be effective across most of the build, not all of it. So there as well would be good. And I think that works quite nicely. Maybe lanterns would serve better. Oh, because lanterns would work better as like something to put in the middle. Yes, because we've got threes. The things work in threes, so we can put it in the middle of them all and have them equally spaced. I like that. That works well. Now up here, we have a different situation because of the difference of the roof. However, I think I am going to go for something similar. 1, 2, 3, 4, say 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, not quite. Crap. 1, 2, 3. Bang. Then 2 in the middle. Yes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Bang. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Bang. And if I get rid of all of these now, it is not going to be bright enough. Not nearly. Close. I actually think it works pretty well. Oh crap, I keep destroying stuff. 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3. I don't know if there's any regularity to the numbers. I think that works actually. I don't think that's a problem. That might just be good. It's a bit dark around where the sheep are, but we're on peaceful. There's not going to be any zombies spawning, so I think that's fine. Honestly, I might turn off mob spawn. Actually, no, because mob spawning means I won't be able to use spawn eggs. Ugh. I just hate the bats. The bats are everywhere. So now all of the lighting is done. I am going to actually the first thing I'm going to do before I move on to the shop is just put the sheep everywhere. I need to put the sheep in the pens, and I've not got my volume on, so I'm not going to be able to hear all the sheep going around and round. And you won't either because that's off as well. So yeah, that's not going to cause any problem. I'm going to do that. Up here we do still have the two 2x4 areas, so I think I'm going to do that for the white and black sheeps because they're like your most common sheep types. I think, for the most part anyway. So I'm just going to chuck a few sheep in every pen, maybe 3 in these, 4 in these, and then we'll move on to the shop. So let's get to it. Boom, sheep done, and they've already eaten half of all of the grass. Um, I'm sure that's fine. I'm sure there'll be no problems. I tried to do them in like shade order. The only like here it would have been nice to have like white, light grey, grey, black, but I wanted the grey in the bigger pen, so it's not really worked out like that. It's fine, not really a big problem. But like the red, orange, yellow goes. You got the blue, like blue cyan, and I mixed these two up. The cyan and the light blue, I didn't realize how similar they looked, at least in this lighting. But then you got like purple, magenta, pink, and then lime and green. And that is the main barn completely done. The only thing to do now is the little shop at the side. Time to make the actual wool shop, the actual interesting part that this whole build was supposed to surround. So, lanterns immediately is the big thing because I want to get rid of these sea lanterns. You've already got light coming through from there, but I'm just going to add more. I mean, that doesn't really work because it's hidden behind there, so I'll just put it forward by 1. That is a-okay. For the flooring, what am I going to do for the flooring? I'm not quite sure yet. I'll probably do something similar to in here. I might just do birch. Maybe the stripped spruce outline. Let's get to work. Yeah, that flooring looks really nice, really simple. Literally just the first thing I thought of, pretty much replicated what was in there. And I just did the corners stood up because it's just going to look weird having it like it's unidirectional. There's no like combination. They can't smooth into each other. There's no corner. That's what I'm thinking of. Now I need to make myself a little stand for where they're going to sell all of this. And I mean, the standard is the smooth slab. That's what they used to have in ye old blacksmiths back in ye olden days. Back in old Xbox 360 edition. Back in my time. Which works quite nicely, actually. You can come down here and you've got a chest here. I mean, the way I'm kind of thinking about it, not too much storage because you've kind of got you just kind of there, you ask for what they want, you come through here, you chop up all the sheep. Don't chop up all the sheep, share the wool. Goodness me. But you will have some storage, that's just natural. I should have it in the corner. I don't really want to cover up the corner piece, but I should have the chest in the corner, shouldn't I? That just makes sense. And the chests kind of ruin the mood. One thing I wish barrel. I was just about to say, I wish we had more options for storage items, and barrel is absolutely there. Barrel is absolutely in with it. So yes, little barrel corner. Perfect. And now the till. We have nothing for tills. I didn't get no comments. No comments. I asked for recommendations for tills, and you didn't give me it. Lectern. That's not going to work. No, absolutely not. What would work as a till? Because, like, I don't know. I need something smaller than stairs, but something that still kind of looks like a till. I need something that can outreach and put the money in. But there's quite literally nothing else. I have searched through this menu so many times during this build, just searching through blocks, and I've not found much of what I want, really. I found a couple odd things, but I really need a till. Ah, found nothing. Okay, stairs it is. The best one. Is it just all over the counter? We just say it's all over the counter. This is like the money bins. That's what it is. I honestly, the till kind of just ruins the mood of it all for me because it's so big. Ugh. And then I'll just put like a chair in the corner here, little waiting room. Kind of you're waiting for your thing to be ready. You can sit down for a moment, and door in there. If we go for a spruce door, nope, completely, I've completely messed that up. What am I doing? What am I? That's what I was trying to do. That's what I was trying to do. Nope, 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 nope. Yes, close, not quite. Nope. Yes. No. No, no. I'm really just having a pain. There we go. And yes, bingo. I tried clapping, but there we go. I think the noise suppression like cut all of the clapping out. I did. Good job, me. Mission successful. I need to. I think I've got it now. Yep. Okay. That doesn't. No. Stairs. Oh, can I make the stairs go around? I don't think I can when it's just one of them. I kind of want it to look, like that. Um. Oh, yes. Yes. Can't put stairs sideways. What else do I do instead? Nope, I think that's just it. I think I just go with that. Oh no, that's too much depth. Too much depth. That's my problem. Too much depth. It needs to be more blocky. More blocks. There we go. That works a bit better. I'll just put some glass in. Makes it a bit nicer. And it'll also be a bit brighter on the inside. Yeah, I've just put the spruce doors on the side, and I think that works fine. And I think the last thing I want to do is grab a shovel and just give it a bit of a path outwards. Same as I did with the bakery kind of thing. It doesn't come out as far as the bakery, but yeah. You get the gist of it. And I think I am actually done. Boom. That is perfect. I love that. Best angle is from this side, but I know I'm gonna have to go into Photoshop and like edit out all. That's one thing I did with the apartments, was like the angle I took the picture at was, where was it? It was like this, kind of. Not quite, but something like that. And I had to edit out the redstone shop in the background because it looks absolutely horrific. So I'm gonna have to do that with this one. just with the everything else instead. I think that is the angle that I want to put in the thumbnail. I had to figure out doing it at night is better because then I can use the dodge tool around the actual build and make it look brighter, more vibrant, rather than during the day when it doesn't contrast the sky as much, which makes it look worse and less vibrant. These are things you don't want to know, but I'm just telling you, just so you know now. Um, yep, okay, that's probably enough. I don't know why I talked through that. That's something that doesn't need to be in the video, but I'm making the video longer and making it even more painful for editing me, who is going to have to edit this immediately after I stop recording. So yeah, to be able to get it anywhere near ready for tomorrow because it's 6 o'clock, and I need to edit this, prepare like by the end of today, and it's going to take a while, and I still need to eat. Yippee! Let's have a walkthrough so that I can actually get to editing this. Thank you all very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It surprisingly didn't take as long to make as you would expect it would, considering that this is the longest video in the series by a good bit. We're at over 50 minutes now. It was like similar time to make as the others, so I don't know how I ended up going like 20 minutes longer, but I did. Either way, I hope you did enjoy. Hopefully I'll see you next week. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Your choice. But nevertheless, have a nice day, goodbye, and as always, stay creative.